And we're on. We're back at it again.
We're back.
This is so fun. I feel like we're slowly incorporating this into like our day to day.
It feels
just
fun.
like a part of the routine.
I feel like
is really fun.
We're just recording our hangouts, which is something that's really fun.
And we've been wanting to do that for so long. So now it's actually happening. So we wanted to talk or like have a little more of a fun episode today.
Yeah.
To break it up. But still want to obviously unpack important topics, right? So I feel like self-reflection is a good topic and something that's really hard for most people to do. And honestly, it's super hard for me to do by myself and with people. And so I always feel like I need some sort of a push or a mediator or someone to kind of help me go through it. I'm not the type that's very good at doing it myself. So I feel like we should play a game.
I'm so down.
I feel like the creators of We're Not Really Strangers are going to be like, this is not how you play our game.
Tarot card shuffle.
This is a wild card. I don't know what that means. So
is that what it says?
I'm assuming yes.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So I'm going to ask it in relation to you. So what are you doubting about yourself currently? And replace that. I like this one for you. And replace that thought with an affirmation and repeat it out loud for everyone here. So I like this. This is really good for you. This is what we need to be doing today. All right. So what are you doubting about yourself currently, Emma?
I'm doubting my levels of being a good mom. I know I can do it. I know it's within me. I know it's what I'm meant to do. But I can't help but think about if I'm doing it correctly or if I'm missing something, right? Did I get the right toys for her development? Am I talking to her the way I should be speaking to her? Am I feeding her the right amount? Am I taking her out and about enough? Am I being silly with her? Is it okay to cry in front of her? How many times is too much to tell your daughter that you love her, you know?
Yeah.
So all of these, I think, really common questions and thoughts that I think a lot of first-time moms feel is what I'm feeling. And because I'm young and still feel like I haven't experienced enough in the world, but I also have, that I think is a lot of self-doubt within me.
Yeah.
But to turn it around.
Yeah, I want to hear you turn it around. Like a skirt, turn it.
I'm a fun mom. I'm a cool mom.
More than that.
I think I'm a really good mom.
You are a good mom.
I think I'm a chill mom. I think if like I had to describe myself as a mom, it'd be chill mom. I don't raise my voice when she falls and hurts herself. I'm never like, oh my God.
Right.
You know, I'm always like, it's okay. Get up. I mean, or like, she'll get up. It's okay.
Your baby is the most smiley baby I've ever seen.
Thank you.
If that's not telling enough, that she is very, very happy. And she loves her mom and thinks her mom is the best.
Mama.
I don't know what is. So hopefully you really can turn that around in your head because...
Thank you. I'm just going to wear the badge of chill mom.
Chill
and I'm going
mom.
to work it. That's what I want. I want to be the chill mom.
The chill mom. You're taking this.
Okay, now you tell me when to stop.
Stop. Is it a wild card?
I don't know how I would answer this, so I'm curious how you would answer.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, Shira, what have you always accepted as true that turned out to be false?
That I can do anything.
But why would that be false? You can do anything.
I can't operate on someone. I can't, like, there's
If
things...
you practiced and you learned, you can.
But I think rather than having that mentality, honoring that there's some things I won't be able to do and can't do. And it's kind of awesome that I can't because I shouldn't.
I agree with that.
And
Like you should be an expert.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be an expert in everything.
No, and I think it's okay to collaborate and to bring in experts and to bring in external forces to help. Like I don't think you can do everything yourself.
Yeah.
And if there's something you want to do, you should absolutely put your heart and soul and go after your dreams. Like I think it's okay to say this isn't in my best interest and maybe I can't do it and it's okay. And I'm destined for something else that's greater and better for me. Like we're all so different. And also some things could be like, I can't do it now, but maybe later I can or I will.
2 follow-up questions.
Okay. Oh, follow up.
Am I allowed to follow up?
I think so.
Is that part of the game? Okay, my one follow-up question is, would you consider yourself a good delegator? If you know it in yourself that you can't do everything or you won't do everything, are you good at, asking somebody else to do it?
I used to not be at all because I believed then that I could do everything myself and that I was going to do the best version of whatever it is I wanted if I did it myself. Lucky agrees. Lucky, you're interrupting mommy's answer. And I think today I'm a lot better at delegating, but I think it's very common for people to say like, let me just do it myself. I'll do it quicker and better if I just take the reins on this. But I think delegating is a huge part of success, honestly. It's
agree.
like if you aren't delegating, like there is just no way you'll be able to tackle.
No, you get burnt out really quickly.
Burnt out and like you'll just never accomplish what you want to accomplish.
Okay, so my second follow-up, because this one doesn't have a turnaround question, I'm going to turn it around. Name 3 things that you know that you are good at.
That I'm good at. I'm good at listening. I'm good at communicating.
This is true. You're very good with your words.
Thank you. And I'm good at observing.
That's the same thing basically as listening. Actually, no, it's not. It's two different things.
I feel like I see things sometimes that people don't notice. Maybe because they're too distracted, or I feel like with time I've gotten good at taking a second and really taking in what's around me. And sometimes that gives you the answers to what you need when you're not like frantic
just like taking
and going
a breath.
Right. So I
Not
feel like
being
I've
impulsive.
gotten better at that.
That's good.
Thanks.
It's a good skill to have.
Appreciate it. All right. Back to you, honey. Tell me when
gosh.
to stop.
Stop.
Hopefully I don't ask the same question. What's the most exciting improvement that you've been seeing in yourself recently? This is challenging for Emma. She does not want to believe she can improve, that she's amazing. We're about
self-reflection.
The painful question.
Okay. Patience.
Patience. I love that.
I'm a very impatient person. Like when I decide that I want something, I want it now.
Right.
From very simple thing as like I wake up one morning and I want a bagel.
Right.
I want it.
Yeah.
Now.
Right.
I don't want to make it. I want someone to bring it to me.
Right.
When I decided that it was time to get my endometriosis surgery, I wanted it then. I drove myself to my doctor and I said, schedule me today. Not like the surgery today, but I need to leave here to know when my surgery is.
I mean, in some ways, I feel like it served you to be impatient in some respects, but in what ways did it harm you?
Even as simple as when I moved into my new home, I was super impatient and impulsive in purchasing things because I didn't want to live in an empty home.
I think impatience and impulsivity is like oftentimes like
Go hand in hand. Yeah. So looking back, I should have been a little bit more, let's work with what we have. Let's just,
Right. Let's just ease into it.
Yeah. Don't rush to fill a room.
Right.
Right. Same thing. Don't rush to fill your heart and your brain.
Right.
Really sit and observe.
Right.
Before you do something. But yeah, I guess within that, I've, and I hate that I keep tying it back, but really becoming a mother really has tested my patience, has taught me to just chill.
Do you feel like that improvement has come naturally to you when you become a mother, or is it something that you feel like you're still working through?
I'm definitely still working through understanding or being patient with my emotions, but in terms of reactions, it's come natural. I think has made me become a better version of myself and just also an even better communicator.
Do you feel, I'm asking way more follow-up questions, but do you feel like you are learning to be patient with yourself?
No, I'm patient with those around me.
Patience means all of those things, baby. I don't think you, Anita.
I mean, in certain respects,
certain ways.
Yes. It's your turn.
It.
I'm not letting you ask me another follow-up question. Tell me when to stop.
Stop. That one right there.
Keep trying. Wild card.
Wild card.
What do you need to get off your chest?
That I'm just so fucking overwhelmed with myself.
In what aspect?
I feel like I expect a lot of myself.
Expectations.
Yeah. And I think in turn, I'm just hyper fixated on how I should go about the certain parts of my life, to the point where I become a little too specific with how things need to go down, where I leave almost no room for a spontaneous way to go about it. And I think that drives me a little mad because I'm focusing on like the way I see myself doing XYZ, and I don't focus on like the goal.
So let's say you got to that goal, right? Say you completed steps 1 through 4 to get to 5. In the end, how do you feel when you get to 5? Like, do you feel accomplished, or do you...
Well, if there's like detours along those steps, step 2 isn't the step 2 I envisioned. It sometimes takes me a little bit out of whack, where I feel like...
Because it was out of your control.
Yeah. And I feel like, oh no, I couldn't anticipate this. And it becomes way more emotionally consuming for me to process that than to just be like, let's just. And I think that comes from work, my work experience, and how there were fire drills in every moment of my day. And I think in some ways I carry like those experiences and those feelings I felt into my day-to-day personal life. So when there is a fire drill or something that goes unplanned, I beat myself up on, this shouldn't have happened. It should have gone this way. I need to surrender a little more, I feel, in whatever I do. And it's nothing specific. It's just like how my brain processes whatever it is I'm going to do. So the reason it's exhausting is because I'm constantly thinking that way, no matter what it is. So
I take it you're a list person.
Yeah, I'm a very hardcore list person, which for many people, they may find it admirable, but to me, it's become almost like it's enabling to some of the bad behaviors I have of being very rigid and very specific with how I feel things need to be. And so I'm constantly trying to challenge myself in that thinking to be like, it's fucking okay if it doesn't go.
So I have maybe a solution for you.
Give it to me.
Because I used to consider myself someone like that also, where I made lists about everything. If something came and knocked something off my list or made me take that detour, I'd get anxious about it rather than, oh, well, that was supposed to happen. Actually, one of my mentors introduced this idea to me that fully changed my life. It helped me. I don't know if it'll help you, but when you create a to-do list and you have all these things that you want to do and you need to cross them out in order to feel good or feel accomplished, you make a to-do list. At the end of the day, you could do it every day. You could do it at the end of the week.
Right.
Whatever you feel comfortable with. But you write a to-do list, which are mini to big accomplishments
that you had throughout the day.
Yeah. So it could just to celebrate your wins instead of focusing on the things that you could have done, you should have done, you would have done. It's what you did. Right. So whether it be I called my grandma today, like something really simple. I ate breakfast. Some people skip breakfast. Some people are trying not to drink coffee every day. Like I didn't drink my coffee, but I drank water, like something really small like that. Or I signed a client today.
Right.
Like the big wins.
Right.
So you start really, really small. You could even just do 3 things in a day, but then you end up at the end of the day just self-reflecting on the things that you have done versus fixating.
Right. For sure. No, I think I've heard of the to-do to-dos, and I love that so much. And I think it's like not something we naturally do because we like to fixate on what hasn't been done. And I don't think there's ever been, and I'm a firm believer in this, a person that's done everything they've wanted to do on their list.
No.
Ever. I think to-do lists are a fucking scam because you like
they just keep adding.
You keep adding and like you never actually accomplish it the way you thought. And you many people look at it at the end of the day and they're like, fuck, like this all carries over to the next day or whatever. But I like that because I think in the frenzy of trying to get through your to-do list, you forget about the things you actually have done that day that are really important and sometimes more important than the things on your list. And so I'm going to try doing that. And while I'm like a crazy person and I calendar block my hours every day, intentionally writing out your to-dos at the end of the day before you go to sleep could be really good. So
it's really like it feels really silly. Yes.
You do?
Yeah.
I love that.
It feels so silly in the moment, but then you're just like, damn, I did all of that.
Damn, look at me go.
Like even if it's just a text to your husband, right? Where you're like, this is what I did today. You all of a sudden feel really good about what you've just done.
Or even like acknowledging that some days we're not going to show up like we did the day yesterday, and maybe we're not feeling as strong, or we're going through have our period, or I don't fucking know. Like there are days I just cannot get my shit together. Rather than sulking and being like, this like really sucks, saying like, I listened to myself today and I gave myself what I needed to feel better for tomorrow.
Yeah. We're like very powerful beings. Like your body tells you if you're capable of doing something grand that day or not. And
you have to listen in, tune in. Amen to that, sister. I definitely need to do that. So I'll start working on the to-dos. Good. All right. Your turn. What is one truth you've recently come to terms with?
I've come to terms that I overgive myself to people. It's not something that I should like beat myself up for or question why am I like this and why other people are not. But I think I've slowly coming to terms and acceptance with that's who I am, and I should celebrate myself for wanting to give and be generous. And I think that's something that not a lot of people have the privilege of doing or
true.
want to do.
Yeah, or feel like they should do it. I think a lot of people are consumed with their own life. I feel like you take the time to think about other people and in turn want to like give your love and your support
Yeah.
to everyone around you.
Yeah. That's just like, thank you. That's just who I am, and I can't turn my back on who I am or try to change myself in that way. So I just need to accept that that's my truth, that I overgive, like
Does that fill you up? Does it make you happy to overgive?
I
Or
do. I
does it
love
overextend yourself?
I definitely do overextend myself, but I love that version of me,
Like you feel good about that.
yeah, because I can sit back and say, I'm a good friend. I'm loyal. I'm there for the people that I love. And I wouldn't change that about me.
Right.
Like,
And it's like,
someone had surgery, I'm going to drive over there.
and operate.
I'm going to sit in that waiting room. I cannot. I wish I could operate. Are you kidding?
I will make sure.
Oh, in my next life, I will be a surgeon.
Do you want to be?
Oh,
Do
yeah.
you want in your current life?
I'm not good at school, so I cannot do that. But in my next life, I will be a surgeon. I don't know. I was
We're
always
surgeons here.
like in middle school and high school, when we got
You,
to
like,
dissect
loved-
things, I was like, yes, move.
All right.
But
So
yeah.
you come to terms with it.
Yeah, it's just who I am.
It is who you are. I love who you are.
Thank you.
Cute.
What did the people who raised you teach you about love? What lessons do you want to keep, and what do you want to challenge?
Wow. Those are like 3 parts.
Let's start with one.
Okay. Let's start with the first. Read it.
What did the people who raised you teach you about love? Let's dissect that. Do you consider your parents the 2 people who raised you? Do you consider your siblings the people that raised you?
I'd say parents, for sure. And I think each of them taught me entirely different things about love. I think my mom has shown me that love is everywhere. Like you can find it everywhere. Like her entire mantra is love. Like everything she puts out comes from love. And so she's taught me that even taking a walk outside, like you can find and appreciate and love what you're seeing. And so really holding love in everything you do, which is good and bad, because sometimes if you're emotionally vulnerable, because love is vulnerable, you can be very, could overextend yourself in a lot of ways, but also
You just make more room to get heartbroken.
Yeah. So it's a vulnerable place to be, but vulnerability is good. And so love, vulnerability, like it's in everything she's done. And that's how she raised me to be. My dad, in his actions, he doesn't need to say, I love you for you to feel loved by him. And it's in anything he does, whether it's like the small things that he thinks to do for someone else, or how he goes out of his way to pick us up from the airport at 1 a.m. because he just wants to hang out. Or
we know what his love language is.
or like how every friend he's had is obsessed with him, and like he's just like a fan favorite in everyone's life. Like his actions are his love language and how he shares love. So between the both of them is, showing love, expressing love in everything you do, and finding love in the world around you. But also love doesn't mean just saying I love you. It's in the small things that you do that make someone feel really special. What was the second part?
What lessons do you want to keep?
I want to keep those like ideas of how they feel about love. Like I love finding love in everything I do, and I love how they communicate their love. But I think
To you?
to me and to the people around them. But I feel like in some ways, I find them very generous. And I think it's good to have generosity, and it's good to be caring and compassionate with everything you do. But I think it's made me extremely sensitive, which is a good thing too. But I think I want to maybe learn to love myself as well, and not just look for love elsewhere. Like I think there should be a time where I'm not emotionally attaching myself to the love around me, and more so learning that it's within.
That's beautiful.
So
that answers that last question.
Did it?
Yeah. But now I'm adding a fourth question.
A fourth? That wasn't enough.
What, have you taken the love language test? Like, do you know what your love languages are?
No.
Oh my gosh. Do you know what they are? Like, if I were to tell them to you, maybe you can decide.
Maybe. Okay.
So there's physical touch. Mm-hmm. There's quality time. There's acts of service. There's gifts. And
like affirmations,
words of affirmation. Yeah.
I think that for me, like.
So you need words of affirmation? Yeah. Because so you pick, I think that they say that you pick your two. You have two love languages.
I think it's how I receive love.
So that's a two-part thing. How would you describe your love languages? Like, how do you need love to be given to you versus how do you give to others?
I definitely need to think about this.
It's very important when you get into, I think, a long-term relationship to understand your love languages versus your partner's.
Right.
Because David and I, for example, have two completely different ones. Right. And just because I want to be given love one way is not the way that he wants it. Right. So I have to be able to give him what he wants, and he has to be able to give me for a balanced relationship.
I love that. And I think you can learn what those love languages are in time, right? Like it's a figuring out process.
Yeah. But it's good to know what yours are so you can communicate.
How would you describe your relationship with yourself in one word?
Why am I getting all these questions? It's a work in progress. That's what is that a word?
No.
Tough. Tough in all sense of that word. I give myself a lot of tough love. I'm very tough with myself. The words I say to myself are very tough. I think I'm a bit of an extremist when it comes to myself, not to other people around me.
It's interesting. You're very understanding with other people.
Extremely. Very patient, very understanding, very chill with other people, and the complete opposite with myself. So, tough.
Okay. Hopefully you could change that word to something
else.
Yes,
Shira. I'm trying.
Okay, should we find our Moneyball question? And are we peeking now?
Yeah.
We're cheating. Okay. This one's a little bit, you could go anywhere with this. You ready?
No.
What is an unpopular opinion of yours that you hesitate to share with others? I feel like you have many.
Yeah. I'm like, which one do I
love
share?
When you sound off. This is slightly a selfish question because I'm like, I want you to sound off.
I don't know.
Should we change it?
No, it's such a good question because I feel like I have so much to share on that. But because I feel like I'm always like someone's rebuttal. Like, I'm always like, but.
So what's your but?
I mean, there's so many things that I can say. The first thing that came to mind.
Yes, give me that. The first thing that popped in.
Well, I mean, I think it goes hand in hand with my life motto of there's no such thing as a yellow brick road. I don't believe that you need to get married before you have kids. And I can say that because I've experienced that. I don't believe that in a relationship, I don't think you need to quote unquote experience living by yourself, living with friends, living with this person before living with your person. Like, I think if you're dating your person, whether that be 2 months, 3 months, 3 years, 5 years, whatever, live with them.
Yeah.
Live with them and figure it out now, before it's too late. I'm just one of those people, like, rip the Band-Aid.
Yeah.
Rip the Band-Aid, learn, and it's only going to make you stronger.
Yeah.
What else? I'm a big believer. A lot of people don't agree with me on this one, but I went to college. Okay. I did it. I went to college. I went to a very good college. I think college can be a waste of money.
I agree. I'll go down on this ship with you.
Unless you want to be a doctor,
Or there's
a lawyer,
specialty that you
an engineer
would benefit from.
Yeah. I don't think that there's a rush to go to college. I think that mentality of someone so young needs to know exactly what they want to do and they need to go to school right away. I think that's a lot of pressure to put on someone. I do, though, think that it is very monumental, if that's the word to use, educational, to go and live somewhere else for school. I think that's a huge learning curve. I think if I took anything away from college, is that I got to expose myself to different people,
right,
different religions, different ways of living, because people don't live like us in LA,
right?
Whether that be New York, whether that be Ohio, Florida,
or
Texas,
the town over. Yeah,
in the middle of Minnesota, everyone lives such different lives, and I think that having that exposure in college is something that I will never take for granted. Yeah. But I think I learned more in the practice of doing than I did in college.
Like in the classroom.
Yeah. I really could not even tell you 2 of my professors' names because I just don't remember them.
Sorry,
Professor. Yeah. I'm sorry. Do I remember the professors that said terrible things to me? Absolutely. I remember those.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. And the one professor that I really loved and adored, I remember his name. But other than that,
they didn't leave a mark.
No. And, I am proud to say that I went to Duke, and I know that I'm smart.
Hell yeah.
Not only because I went there, but it did give me that trait that I can now proudly say that I'm smart. I never believed it in myself. So I do have that to thank. I mean, I got really shunned a lot in high school because I was very vocal about, I don't think college is for everyone. And I never took the standardized test. I never took the ACT or SAT because I don't believe it's a definition of someone's intelligence. Like, why should I be placed into a school based on my test score? I'm not a good test taker.
Yeah.
I sat down for the practice one, just to see what I would score, and I got bored and uncomfortable reading the questions that I closed my book, put it in the corner of my desk, and then I filled in the bubbles that I thought were pretty. And that's what I turned in. That was my practice SAT, because I was just like, this is dumb. The person in front of me can probably read that paragraph faster than I can, or this person is better than me in math, and why should they go to a better school than me?
Part of your brain. It's not fully I'm capturing the person, right?
Exactly. I'm street smart. I have life lessons and experiences that people have yet to learn, right? And I'm creative. I'm just an artistic person. why should that stop me from going to a school
It's
like
really
Duke?
interesting. Yeah,
So
I love that. That's a good one. We should keep asking you this question every episode. So you can
every
share
day,
one
because something I'm like,
unpopular opinion. Maybe those should be our cold opens. What's an unpopular opinion, Emma?
a silly unpopular opinion, and I'll end it with that, is I don't like marshmallows.
Oh, we can't be friends. What? You don't love a s'more?
No. I like the graham cracker and I like the chocolate.
No. No.
I just do not like marshmallows.
Refuse to believe that.
They're really
about
ooey
you.
gooey, sticky, and like
Delicious.
powdery.
Powdery? What kind of marshmallows are you eating?
Like when you eat them straight out of the bag, they're kind of powdery.
But what about like in a s'more? You cannot tell me you don't like a s'more.
I like sitting there with people making s'mores, and I'll eat the graham crackers.
All right. She's taking us through a ride right now. I'm questioning a lot of things.
On to the next.
On to the next. All right, the last question of the show, the ep.
I really like this question because when I was in Europe with one of my best friends, Emma, we asked each other this question, but boy form.
In boy form?
Yeah, and I'll ask you the question, and then I'll tell you how we asked it to each other.
Okay.
You don't have to answer it in boy form for us, but it's just a cool way to think about it.
Interesting.
What's a non-negotiable in my life? So when we asked it to each other, it was, what are the two non-negotiables, right? What's a physical non-negotiable in a man? Because we like men. In a man that you want versus what's an emotional or inner non-negotiable.
So the question is, what is a non-negotiable in my life?
In your life. Like this, I think, is very broad. So we can put like a topic if you want to.
Sure. So what topic?
Let's do what's a non-negotiable in your home life. Let's do physical, like when you were shopping for homes. What's
Like the physical home.
physical? Like, was it non-negotiable that you had to have a big backyard? You know, something physical, a beautiful kitchen that had a window. You know, something physical. And then what's in an emotional presence in your home that's non-negotiable, whether that be something in your relationship with Jake, something with your dog or future kids, or a rule, a house rule.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Okay, physical non-negotiable about like the bones of a house or the physical element. I think I've always dreamed and made it a non-negotiable to be in a place eventually that was in nature. I'm hyper observant, as we've discussed, and sensitive, and I, ever since I was a little girl, got lost in the world, the physical world around me, and so I love that I can go outside and feel like I'm getting an infusion of nature. Like that has always been something, even if it's a small thing, like I don't need to be in this town, but there's an element in the house that has greenery or good lighting that kind of pours into the windows, just like makes me feel like I'm in earth.
Like it's also calming.
It's
like,
calming.
not
It's
to be in a
good for
city
the
of
nervous
rush.
system, and I just need it. It's a necessity.
Well, you found it.
And I found it. Very, very grateful and blessed. Non-negotiable in our home. And we've, Jake and I have built a home now going on 10 years, and I don't believe that the home is the walls or the structure. It's what you build together as a team. And
Agreed.
so, we've crafted our home for a very long time, I'd like to say, from the moment we were together. Like, even if he'd come visit my apartment in school, like at that point, that was our home. Mm-hmm. And so I think the energy and the love is a non-negotiable thing. Like, we're not always going to be happy. We're not always going to be on our best behavior or in a good mood. But I think if we can always come back to that at the end of the day and not go to bed angry and not feel like we're misaligned, that's a non-negotiable. Energy needs to be optimal, so we can be our best selves, and for ourselves and for each other. And yeah, like if the energy isn't good, then we're not good, and that's for sure something I will never trade. So yeah,
I like that. If the energy is not good, you're not good.
no, good energy always.
I love it. I think that's a good closure.
Close.